In the corridors of justice, a voice rose above the silence, powerful and unwavering. In recognizing the humanity of our fellow beings, we pay ourselves the highest tribute. These words, spoken by Thurgood Marshall, reflect his life's mission and would forever alter the landscape of American law and civil rights. The America of the early 20th century was a nation divided, woven with the threads of segregation and inequality. Jim Crow laws cast a long shadow over the dreams of countless African Americans. Schools, restaurants, and even public restrooms bore signs proclaiming, "Whites only," a blatant reminder of systemic bigotry. The legal system had become a tool of oppression. It was a time when the color of one's skin dictated the trajectory of one's life, leaving many confined to a cycle of disenfranchisement. In this bleak reality, one man dared to challenge the status quo. Thurgood Marshall was born on July 2, 1908, in Baltimore, Maryland. His father instilled values of justice and integrity, facing harsh realities of racism. The young Marshall was raised in a neighborhood rife with the tensions of segregation. He witnessed firsthand the indignities his family faced while shopping or attending local schools. Inspired by his family and community's struggles, Marshall felt a burning desire to confront injustice, igniting a passion that would shape his destiny. His academic journey led him to Lincoln University, where he became the first in his family to graduate from college. There, he sharpened his intellect against social injustice, developing a critical lens through which he viewed the world. At Lincoln, he was surrounded by like-minded peers who were equally inspired by their African heritage and the call for equality. His education was not merely about textbooks, it was a cultivation of spirit and resolve. Following his graduation in 1930, he enrolled at Howard University School of Law, thriving under the mentorship of Charles Hamilton Houston, a figure who became both a father figure and intellectual guide. Houston taught him that the law could be a vehicle for change, emphasizing the power legal victories held in the fight against systemic oppression. However, the path to justice was fraught with obstacles. The legal system often ignored the marginalized. Courts were reluctant to alter the status quo, and the pervasive fear of repercussions loomed large. But as Marshall immersed himself in his studies, he honed his skills and vision, laying the groundwork for a masterful legal strategy to dismantle segregation. His time at Howard ignited a sense of purpose. He often recalled that the law had the power to shape society, and he was determined to bend it toward justice. Every case he undertook was a battle for civil rights. In 1936, Marshall became the chief counsel for the NAACP, a position that would catapult him into the national spotlight. His strategy was meticulous, combining the power of the law with the emotional weight of human stories. He understood that every legal battle was not just about winning, it was about exposing the injustices that underpinned American society. His role as chief counsel led to landmark victories, most notably Brown v. Board of Education in 1954, where he argued that separate but equal was inherently flawed. The Supreme Court's unanimous decision in Brown shattered the chains of institutional racism, declaring that segregation in public schools was unconstitutional. Marshall's genius lay in his unwavering belief in systemic change. He understood that the struggle for justice was a moral imperative. The stakes were high, as millions of lives hung in the balance. He often reflected on the words of Frederick Douglass, who stated, "Power concedes nothing without a demand." It never did and it never will. The urgency of action echoed through Marshall's advocacy, as he strategized relentlessly to forge a path toward equality. In 1967, Marshall made history as the first African American Supreme Court justice. This was not merely a personal accomplishment, it was a monumental victory for all who had fought for equality. The highest court, once a symbol of exclusion, now reflected the rich diversity of its people. It was a moment that signaled change, as Marshall took his seat among the nation's most powerful jurists, understanding the weight of the history he was now part of. As we reflect on Thurgood Marshall's life, we discover a relentless spirit, epitomizing the struggle for justice. His rulings resonate in modern civil rights debates, a reminder that the battle for equality continues. Justice is the cornerstone of democracy, a truth that reverberates through history. Marshall's work reminds us of our shared responsibility for the future. Raised in the segregated streets of Baltimore, Marshall experienced the oppressive weight of discrimination. His mother instilled a respect for education while his father nurtured resilience. These formative years shaped him into a beacon of hope for African Americans, cultivating a steadfast determination to pursue what was right. Marshall often recalled how his mother would tell him, "You must speak for those who cannot speak for themselves," an admonition that would guide him throughout his career. Marshall's pursuit of justice began at Lincoln and Howard University, influenced by Charles Hamilton Houston's teachings. In 1936, Marshall joined the NAACP as chief counsel, becoming one of its most formidable advocates. His first major case, Murray v. Pearson, challenged segregation in Maryland's law schools, setting the stage for landmark victories to come. This case was pivotal, showcasing his tactical brilliance and commitment to dismantling educational segregation. One defining moment was his argument in 1954's Brown v. Board of Education. This was not merely a legal battle, it was a moral crusade. Marshall meticulously gathered evidence, utilizing social science research to illustrate segregation's detrimental effects on African American children. He commissioned studies that revealed the psychological harm inflicted by segregation, emphasizing that it was damaging not just to individuals, but to society as a whole. The Supreme Court's unanimous decision struck down segregation in public schools, igniting the civil rights movement. It was a turning point that galvanized activists across the nation, emboldening them to demand justice and equality. Marshall's victories were not without personal sacrifice. He faced threats and hostility, often receiving hate mail and facing intimidation tactics. Yet, with each challenge, he grew more resolute. Every courtroom battle was a fight for dignity and rights, and he understood that each case could alter the course of history. He once said, "Justice delayed is justice denied," a mantra that propelled him into the fray time and time again, refusing to settle for anything less than immediate and substantial change. In the years that followed, Marshall expanded beyond the courtroom. He helped organize protests, advised grassroots activists, and inspired young leaders. His ability to navigate law and activism made him pivotal in the civil rights era. He served as a bridge, connecting the legal fight for equality with the on-the-ground struggles of those demanding civil rights. He understood that the law needed the power of the people's voices to effect real change. Marshall was often seen at rallies, standing shoulder to shoulder with activists, urging the nation to listen and act. In 1967, becoming the first African American Supreme Court justice was a testament to his relentless pursuit of justice. Seating alongside the nation's highest jurists, he carried the hopes of millions, embodying the ideals he fought for throughout his life. In his first address as a justice, he emphasized that the law must reflect the ideals of a just society, reminding his colleagues of the responsibility they held. His presence on the court called for upholding principles of justice in an evolving society, pushing the boundaries of what was possible. Marshall's time on the court was marked by an awareness of the weight his presence carried. His pivotal contributions included the landmark case of Roe v. Wade, which secured women's rights and underscored broader implications of freedom in society. He recognized that justice for one group must encompass all marginalized communities. His opinions consistently reflected an understanding that the fight for equality was not a singular struggle, it was an interwoven tapestry of human rights. Marshall faced significant challenges, often at odds with conservative justices resistant to expansive interpretations of civil rights. Yet, in Bakke v. California, his dissenting opinion underscored the importance of diversity in education. He argued that a diverse educational environment benefited all students, and that merit-based systems that excluded black applicants perpetuated the very inequalities they sought to eliminate. Each ruling sought to dismantle remnants of racism or bolster them further, and he never wavered in his commitment to justice. He tackled voting rights, ensuring every American had an equal voice in governance. His opinions invoked the memory of those who fought for the right to vote, urging the nation to fulfill its promise of liberty and equality. He often recounted the struggles of those marchers on Bloody Sunday, who faced violence for their right to vote, reinforcing the need for vigilance against voter suppression. Despite facing fierce backlash, Marshall wielded his position as a tool for justice. As the nation grappled with issues like school desegregation and affirmative action, his contributions became crucial. Through passionate arguments, he illuminated stark realities of inequality, advocating for a society where dreams were not limited by race or status. He once remarked, "In the field of law, the greatest achievement is the recognition that all men are created equal." Marshall's life and legacy serve as a beacon of inspiration. His impact reverberates in contemporary struggles for equality, reminding us that the fight for justice is a continuous journey that demands courage and tenacity. His enduring call to action invites us to confront injustices of our time and stand in solidarity with the marginalized. The themes of his legal arguments and the principles he advocated for continue to resonate today, manifesting in various movements seeking justice. The landmark case of Brown v. Board of Education crystallized Marshall's legacy. As he stood before the Supreme Court, he argued that education is a right, not a privilege, and systemic separation degraded that right for African American children. His words ignited a movement, sparking protests demanding widespread access to quality education, regardless of race. It became a rallying cry for activists nationwide. The Supreme Court's unanimous decision on May 17, 1954, struck down the legal foundation of segregation, a defining victory that demanded introspection and action. Marshall's relentless pursuit changed the educational landscape and set the wheels for civil rights into motion. Yet, this victory was just the beginning. Marshall understood the journey ahead would be fraught with resistance. As he navigated the challenges of the 1960s, he became a steadfast advocate for the poor and disenfranchised. His life became a testament that justice requires constant vigilance and collective action. The echo of his battle against segregation continues, reminding us that the struggle against injustice is ongoing and requires commitment to equality. Thurgood Marshall's defining moment was a legacy of hope and change, igniting a fire within citizens to demand equality, not as a gift, but as a fundamental right guaranteed to all. Marshall's legacy is woven into American society, a thread that shines brightly amidst darkness. His relentless pursuit of justice transformed legal precedents and inspired generations. Today, as we navigate a diverse nation, the principles he fought for resonate with renewed urgency. His belief that one person can initiate profound change stands as a clarion call, inviting us to rise against injustices we encounter. His words serve as guiding stars, urging us to embrace empathy and advocate for those whose voices are silenced. The Black Lives Matter movement and the fight for LGBTQ+ rights echo the battles Marshall faced. His strategies inspire activists today, reminding us the fight for justice is multifaceted. Marshall's dedication to evidence and reason serves as a beacon for those challenging oppressive systems, equipping them with the tools to articulate their demands. His journey underscores the importance of allyship across various movements, emphasizing the interconnectedness of struggles for civil rights. Each victory and setback reminds us the path to equity is demanding yet rewarding. Marshall's wisdom invites individuals to unite in purpose and resolve. He believed that solidarity among marginalized communities would amplify their voices. The legal landscape he shaped influences courts today, guiding decisions resonating with his ideals. Landmark cases laid the groundwork for subsequent legal battles, encouraging a view of law as a living instrument for change. Marshall's legacy instilled in future generations the understanding that the pursuit of justice is not a solitary endeavor, it requires collective effort and shared responsibility. As we reflect on his life, we must confront modern challenges. Economic disparity,